Exposed, the secret village hauler delivering haunted garlic in the cursed Aswang territory. In hollow pines, darkness arrives early, swallowing the tranquility of evening with its heavy cloak. Lurking in the dim light, a figure slips through the quiet streets, carrying bundles of garlic so intense they only whisper of trouble. The rumors etched into the fearful hearts of the townsfolk speak of the Aswang, a nightmare prowling these very roads, waiting for silence to sink its fangs into the unsuspecting. Lisa, a hard-working single mother, already felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. She couldn't afford anything but the bare necessities for her children, and when she lost her grocery store job, cracks began to form in her resolve. Struggling to maintain her vegetable garden, it felt like the last vestige of control in a life spiraling downward. Her children, bright and eager, deserved a better life, and those whispers of the village hauler offered a flicker of hope amidst her panic. As she snatched a flyer from a lamppost, the slogan burned in her mind: extra cash for the brave. Delivering the uncommon. But with the hope came unease. Her first night of deliveries felt heavy. Every shadow seemed to tease with hidden dangers as she parked her battered car on Maple Street. The air thickened with suspicion and, as she approached her first stop, she caught sight of her neighbor, Mrs. Hale, glaring out with hollowed eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 secrets. Lisa's heart raced. Was she watching? Or was it the Aswang's influence creeping into their small town's fabric? Her hands trembled slightly as she seized a bundle of garlic tightly wrapped in faded burlap. The pungent aroma clawed at her throat, a warning sign that only intensified the shivers radiating through her spine. And then it happened. An unsettling howl echoed through the stillness. The sound made her stomach churn and memories flooded back. Tales her grandmother whispered about creatures hunting children in the dark. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The tension grew with each delivery. Pets began to vanish, neighbors exchanged nervous glances, and the town felt more like a labyrinth filled with horrors than the home she cherished. The garlic she was delivering had become a curse. Was it tied to the Aswang? She felt an all-consuming paranoia, her once friendly community morphing into a sinister web as night deepened. The horrible truth came to a head unexpectedly when she stumbled upon a hidden market, the air thick with incense and darkness, laughter twisted with fright. Rituals wrapped in shadows occurred before her eyes. It was a secret operating under the cover of night, binding residents in ways she couldn't comprehend. As she delivered another bundle, her breath hitched at shadows lurking behind her. The streets hummed with hidden danger, eyes watching, waiting. And then, as the moon hung low and menacing, Lisa awoke to an emptiness. Her children were gone. The scent of garlic twisted with something more sinister stung her senses. Neighbors turned into ill-omened giants in the dark, and Lisa was trapped in a nightmare. The Aswang was no myth, it was very real and prowling closer, hungry for the children she held dear. The dawn approached, but she wasn't just racing against time, she was racing against a tragic truth that threatened to consume everything she loved. As the growl of the creature echoed in the marrow of her existence, she faced an impossible choice: trust her darkened neighbors or fight to slip away into the daylight, holding on to the last threads of hope before it was too late. Lisa gasped, her heart pounding like a war drum against her ribs as she bolted upright in bed. The haunting emptiness echoed around her, a low whisper of despair draped in shadows. Desperate, she stumbled into the hallway, calling for her children, her voice cracking like glass. Emma. Noah. There was no answer. Just the oppressive silence that felt heavier than a tombstone. The house was a labyrinth of memories, each corner echoing laughter, each wall a witness to their mischief. But now? Now it felt like a coffin, suffocating her. The scent of garlic hung in the air, now more rancid than before, wrapping her in a cloying embrace. What was happening to her, to her precious kids. As her mind raced, primal instinct kicked in. She had to find them, shoes barely laced, she snatched her jacket and stumbled outside. The streetlights flickered ominously, creating long shadows that danced and twisted, hiding threats in the dark. Lisa squinted into the murky night, where every rustle sounded like broken glass underfoot. Someone must know something, she thought, moving faster than her own thoughts. Mrs. Hale's house was nearby. If anyone could help, it was her, a local who seemed to know every secret in Hollow Pines. As she reached the front door, a chill crawled up her spine. It was ajar, swinging slightly as if inviting her in. Heart racing, she knocked, but the sound fell flat against the silent walls. Pushing the door further open, she stepped inside. The air was thick with something sweet, almost sickly, as if decay was marinating in the walls. "Mrs. Hale?" She called out, the name tumbling from her lips like a prayer. Just a moment a voice drifted from the kitchen, slurred and heavy. Driven by desperation, Lisa stepped further inside. The darker corners felt like fingers curling against her skin. When she entered, she was greeted by a sight that twisted her stomach. The kitchen table was covered in garish charms, little dolls fashioned from twigs, jars filled with murky liquid, and at the center, a mound of garlic. "Ah, Lisa," Mrs. Hale said, her voice dripping with sweetness edged in something sinister. Her eyes glittered, but they weren't warm. "You shouldn't have come here. It's not safe." "What do you mean?" Lisa's voice was almost a whisper, eyes darting around. The fabric of her reality was unraveling. Mrs. Hale leaned forward. "You deliver the garlic, and now you're bound to the night just like the others. They can smell your fear." They're hungry. Lisa's thoughts spun like a top, her mind racing to piece it together. The Aswang had taken her children, and now this woman was warning her of what she already knew. "I need to find them. Please." She felt the room close in, oppressive. Suddenly, a howl pierced the night, a growling echo that sent shivers racing down her spine. The sound reverberated through the house, as if the very walls feared what lurked outside. "Listen, child," Mrs. Hale began, but the words were drowned out by the noise, her expression shifting from calm to panic. "They're coming for you. You must go now." Lisa turned toward the door, her heart demanding speed, but just as she reached for the handle, the floorboards groaned, shadows writhing at her feet. She was more than just afraid, she felt them closing in, eyes watching from beyond the veil of darkness. As she burst outside, the full weight of the night rushed around her, and she felt it, a presence behind her, insatiable, prowling. With every ounce of soul, she sprinted toward the woods, knowing she had to find her children before it was too late. But even as she ran, a cold certainty settled deep in her gut, the Aswang was watching. A deeper growl followed, vibrating against her spine, and a question formed in her mind, a question that would change everything. Could she truly escape, or was she already trapped in its deadly game? The shadows danced closer, and Lisa knew that time was slipping away like grains of sand. Would she have the strength to confront the terror lurking in Hollow Pines, or would it consume her whole? The moon hung high, a pale eye watching over the twisted trees as Lisa dashed, her feet pounding against the rough earth. The branches clawed at her, sharp and unforgiving, as if trying to hold her back. Each step felt like a heartbeat pushing her further into a nightmare she couldn't escape. Ahead, the woods opened up to a clearing. But this wasn't a sanctuary, it felt like a stage set for horrors yet to unfold. She halted, breathless, scanning the shadows swirling like phantom figures. "Emma. Noah." Her voice echoed, cracking with despair. But the silence returned, a suffocating blanket. Panic surged within her, a tidal wave threatening to drown her in a whirlpool of fear. How could this happen? How could the darkness devour her children? A rustle in the underbrush pricked her ears. A shadow shifted, darting between trees with a grace that unnerved her. Lisa squinted through the gloom, her heart racing. "Is that you?" Her voice trembled, laced with hope and dread. The rustling stopped. A figure emerged, eyes glowing faintly in the night. Lisa's heart leaped. Was it one of her children? But as it crept closer, the shape distorted, morphing into something grotesque. Moonlight revealed its true form, all jagged edges and sinister features. "Curious little morsel," it hissed, words dripped with malice. Lisa stumbled backward, trapped in a paralyzing freeze. This wasn't any forest creature, it was the Aswang, its fangs glistening like cruel daggers. The memories of Mrs. Hale's warnings flooded her mind. "They can smell your fear." There was no escape, not as the creature prowled ever closer, eyes gleaming with a wicked hunger. Lisa could see the darkened teeth, stained with shadows that seemed to absorb light. It was playing with her, savoring the terror coursing through her veins. She turned on her heel, the instinct to flee taking precedence over all else. Quickening her steps, she dashed deeper into the woods, branches slapping her face like angry spirits trying to keep her from leaving. The undergrowth rustled, snapping beneath heavy feet. It was coming for her, relentless, drawing nearer with each frantic heartbeat. "Emma! Noah!" She screamed again, voice hoarse from despair. Hazy memories of their laughter shattered against this nightmare, a chilling reminder of what she had to lose. Was it already too late? Ahead, a flicker of light caught her eye. A house stood, nestled in the shadows like a forgotten relic. Its walls looked ancient, but the beckoning glow from the window promised warmth, a possible refuge. It felt dangerous, yet better than the pursuit closing in behind her. Lisa sprinted toward it, desperate and reckless. She reached the door, her hands trembling as she fumbled for the handle. It swung open with creaking protest, and she stepped inside, heart racing. Everything was forgotten, displaced in this new interior. A kitchen stretched before her, walls lined with herbs hanging to dry, but the air was thick with a disturbing sweetness, like honey laced with rot. "Help! Please!" she cried, eyes darting, seeking any sign of life. Just as her voice faded into the eerie quiet, she heard it, a soft chuckle, chilling and deep. "Did you think you could outrun your fate?" The familiar voice slithered through the air, sending icy fingers crawling down her spine. "Mrs. Hale?" The name slipped from her lips, a whisper filled with dread. From the shadows, the old woman emerged, a smile curling on her lips, flashing teeth that looked as hungry as the creature chasing her. "Welcome, my dear. The night's just begun, and so is your journey to reclaim what's lost." Lisa's breath caught in her throat, a new fear flooding her veins. What did that mean? Could she really reclaim her children, or was it just another twisted game? With a final chilling chuckle, Mrs. Hale's form faded into the darkness, leaving Lisa alone, trapped, surrounded by walls that felt alive, listening for her next choice. The shadows whispered her name. And as that echo drowned in the silence, she could only wonder, would she dare confront the depths of this horror, or would the night swallow her whole, just like it had her children? Every heartbeat echoed in the deathly quiet of the old kitchen, reminding Lisa that time was not on her side. The walls seemed to watch her, the windows like darkened eyes watching her assess her surroundings. She took a cautious step forward, the wooden floor creaking beneath her weight, as if protesting her presence. "Emma! Noah!" The desperation clawed at her throat again, but no voice answered. The only reply was the soft fluttering of the curtains as they danced with an unseen breeze, further unsettling the calm she sought. Her breath quickened, and the sweet, sickly aroma in the air wrapped around her senses. Memories of the woman who had once been her neighbor resurfaced. Mrs. Hale, with her peculiar ways and oddities. Lisa had always thought she was harmless, but now a icy doubt gnawed at her. Was this woman a savior, or had she brought Lisa into the belly of the beast? Rounding the corner of the kitchen, Lisa's gaze met shelves cluttered with jars filled with strange pickled substances. Something in the jars shifted. She blinked, convinced it was her mind playing tricks, but when she looked again, the contents appeared to quiver, as if responding to her presence. "Help me!" she shrieked, her words snagging in the air and fading into the thick silence. No answer, only a low thrum that vibrated through the room, as if some unseen force was drawing ever closer. The flickering glow from the window grew dimmer, a shadow curling around the edges of the light. Lisa turned back toward the door, but as she did, the air hung heavy. The unmistakable sound of claws scraping against the wooden frame echoed from behind her. She spun around just in time to see the Aswang's twisted figure slipping through the rear entrance, undeterred by the barrier, its grin expansive and predatory. "No!" she gasped, panic surging. Each breath she took felt like a desperate plea, a silent bartering for her life. She stumbled backward, but there was nowhere to go. "Ah, but the night holds secrets you have yet to uncover." The voice was smooth, almost musical, coming from Mrs. Hale as she appeared again, her frame casting an unusual shift of warm light in the oppressive darkness. "There is a price for safety, dear. Will you pay it?" "Price? What do you want from me?" Lisa choked, glancing back at the Aswang, which was inching closer, its breath sizzling in the air, pungent and suffocating. The old woman chuckled, a sound unsettlingly relational, like thunder rumbling in the distance. "Every transaction comes with an exchange, my dear. In your case, a part of your soul. A fair trade for the lives you seek to recover." Confusion tangled with fear, Lisa felt like a moth drawn to a flame. "My soul? You can't expect me to just give that up." Mrs. Hale leaned closer, eyes glinting in the fading light. "You have already sacrificed so much. A mother's love, her joy. What would you not barter to see your children again?" The Aswang paused, its red eyes gleaming hungrily, as if anticipating her choice. The kitchen felt like it was crumbling, the floor shifting beneath her. Lisa was on the brink of a decision, heart hammering, the weight of her children's fate pressing down on her like an anvil. If she denied Mrs. Hale, was she sentences them to doom? But if she agreed, what might become of her? "Time is slipping away, dear." Mrs. Hale's voice sliced through the sweet air like a knife. "Choose, or the darkness will claim you all." The horror before her stretched and twisted, threatening to consume everything Lisa once held dear. What was she willing to sacrifice? In this place between life and death, her choices narrowed as the Aswang's breath grew closer, the shadows thickening, wrapping around her like chains. The haunting question lingered in her mind as she opened her mouth to speak, "What must I do?" But before the words could leave her lips, a loud crash shattered the silence from another room, echoing against the walls like a gunshot. What was that? Fear painted her voice, piercing through the tension. In that moment of uncertain hope and dread, Lisa could only hope it wasn't the last they would ever hear. And somewhere in the building chaos, the Aswang grinned, ready to feast on her choices. The crash reverberated, freezing the air around Lisa. Her heart raced wildly. A stark realization dawned: it could be her children. They could be in danger, just as she was. Dread sank deep into her stomach, twisting and writhing like the shadows that surrounded her. "Emma! Noah!" she screamed, the words clawing their way out of her throat. It felt futile, the oppressive silence swallowing her cries. Mrs. Hale merely watched, the grin on her face stretching impossibly wide. "Dear, you must focus. Time waits for no one." The old woman's voice slithered through the air, smooth yet laced with an undercurrent of tension, but Lisa wasn't listening. She turned away, driven by an instinct to find her kids. She dashed down the dim corridor that branched off the kitchen, desperation fueling her movements. Each step felt heavy, shadows offering no comfort, only a chilling reminder of what lurked outside her vision. "Stay close. I'm coming," she gasped, pushing forward even as her instincts screamed at her to turn back. The house was a labyrinth, dark corners curving in ways she had never noticed before. There was an oppressive air, a weight pressing down, almost as if the house was alive, holding its breath. Another crash echoed behind her, louder this time, followed by a distinct thud. It came from the living room. She pushed through the door, heart hammering in her chest. The scene that unfolded was worse than her worst fears. Emma and Noah were sprawled on the floor, confusion etched on their faces. They were safe, for now, but beyond them stood something that sent ice through Lisa's veins. The Aswang was back, its features grotesque, more pronounced under the dim light of the flickering bulb. It crouched low, back arched, and claws scraping the floor, sharp enough to scrape paint off the walls. "Mom!" Noah shouted, his voice cracking with fear, reaching for her. Emma was frozen, gripping her brother's arm tightly. "Get behind me!" Lisa cried, instinctively positioning herself between her children and the frightening figure. Rage mixed with terror surged through her. She would protect them at all costs. But she couldn't shake the nagging voice of Mrs. Hale from her mind. A price for safety. What did that mean? The Aswang growled, a deep, guttural sound that racked its body. "You shouldn't have come, Mother. Your choices lead you here." Its eyes glowed, reflecting an insatiable hunger, a primal urge to consume. "Leave us!" Lisa shouted, voice unsteady but defiant, praying that her misplaced bravery would hold. Suddenly, the kitchen door slammed shut behind her, rattling the house. Mrs. Hale's laughter reverberated through the room, intertwining with the Aswang's growl. "Oh, sweet child, you've chosen a path that offers no retreat. Enough of this!" Lisa screamed, fear turning to fury. "What do you want from us?" "I want for you to realize," the Aswang hissed, "what a mother's love can cost." In that moment, Lisa felt the shadows shift, swirling around her, choking the air. Her heart raced again, this time with the cold grip of despair. She had the weight of her choices, but now, the decision felt more urgent. Could she risk everything for her children? Emma's hand slipped into hers, and Noah pressed closer to their mother. A warmth spread through her, battling against the encroaching darkness. This was her anchor, her light in the dark. "Whatever it takes," Lisa murmured, not sure if she was addressing the Aswang, Mrs. Hale, or even herself. As she stared into the Aswang's eyes, a dawning awareness stretched forth. There had to be a way out. But at what cost? A faint whisper of movement caught her ear. Turning quickly, Lisa noticed the jars on the shelves again, their sloshing contents now fully animated. A dark tendril slithered from one, reaching, grasping. "Get away from those!" she yelled, lunging for her kids. But the Aswang moved, its claws clashing with a disturbing speed. As she made her way toward the jars, something exploded. The room filled with a cacophony, blinding light burst from the jars, and all Lisa could see were glimpses of her memories, the laughter of her children, their innocent smiles, fading into darkness, and then, a sharp bite of a whisper pierced through the chaos. "Make the choice." Everything faltered as the shadows warped, leaving her teetering between hope and despair. What choice would Lisa have to make to protect her children? As the Aswang lunged forward, a heart-stopping reality sank in. Some secrets were meant to stay buried, but this was only the beginning. What awaited her beyond that veil of darkness? In the blinding chaos, time seemed suspended. Lisa felt the warmth of her children fading, slipping away as the Aswang lunged. Its claws arched towards her, but a sudden blast of light erupted, swallowing them all in its glowing embrace. She shielded her eyes, the brightness burning into her vision, momentarily scattering the shadows choking the room, and then, as abruptly as it began, the light was snuffed out, leaving her dazed. A metallic taste filled her mouth, and she staggered backward, eyes darting to find Emma and Noah. "Mom?" Noah cried, panic lacing his voice. The familiar sound anchored her. They were alive. She could still save them. That relief was shattered as the Aswang's guttural snarl echoed through the darkness, now disembodied. "You think the light will save you?" It hissed, its voice reverberating, mocking the very concept of safety. "I am not a mere shadow. I am hunger." Lisa's heart raced as she regained her footing. She could feel her children by her side, anxious and trembling. "Stay close," she urged, eyes scanning the now dimly lit room. The crash had created a path, debris scattered like broken bones, but there was no exit in sight. She could feel the weight of the house pressing down on her. "Mom, what do we do?" Emma whispered, her voice soft like the fluttering of a trapped bird. "There has to be a way out. We just need to." Then a thought struck Lisa, sharp and sudden. The jars. They might be the key. They held memories, fragments of their past. Maybe they could serve as a weapon, a distraction, or even a bargaining chip. "Listen, I need you both to trust me," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. "Noah, Emma, can you find me the jars? Look for the glowing ones." Noah nodded, eyes wide, while Emma hesitated, glancing around nervously. "But what if the Aswang comes back? We won't let it happen. We'll be quick. Just remember the light, it might protect us." As they sprinted towards the shelves, Lisa felt an almost magnetic pull towards the jars. Heart racing, she thought of the fierce love that drove her, the price she was willing to pay. Behind her, the Aswang's growl resonated again, closer this time. The air crackled with its presence, a sinister excitement swirling around them. "You're playing a dangerous game, Mother," it snickered, each word like nails scraping across metal. The children began pulling jars down. Each clink echoed loudly amidst the oppressive silence, every sound weaving closer to chaos. Lisa turned, demanding focus, instinct guiding her on the precarious edge between safety and destruction. "Noah, there." She pointed, directing him toward a jar tinted crimson, glowing faintly like embers in a dying fire. "Bring that one here." The Aswang's laughter faded momentarily, replaced by a disembodied ghoul-like whisper that wrapped around her, chilling her to the bone. Memories are trapped, and secrets are suffocating. As Noah reached for the jar, something dark unfurled within it, a shadowy figure writhing and undulating. It slipped like smoke into his grasp, weaving through his fingers. He gasped, but Lisa surged forward, catching him before panic could grip him. "Emma! Grab the others!" she shouted, voice slicing through the thick air. Suddenly, the walls trembled, as if the house were acknowledging the Aswang's approach. With a monstrous roar, it lunged, claws slicing through the distance between them. Everything felt impossibly slow as fear wrapped around Lisa's heart. Would they be too late? The echoes of the past mingled with the darkness, urging her to make a choice: to unleash the memories, or to sacrifice everything to save her children. "Make the choice," the Aswang hissed again, clutching her children close. Lisa steeled her resolve. The time had come. She would no longer cower in torment. They would fight back, but at what cost would it come? With a deep breath, she prepared to shatter the jar, plunging them all into the unknown. What other horrors would they awaken? The jar exploded in a shower of glass and light. Lisa felt the warmth of memory wash over her, a sudden rush of laughter, birthday parties, and soft words of comfort. But the Aswang's malice churned beneath it, dark and oppressive. "Do you feel it?" it taunted. "You think your memories will save you?" She barely registered the way the memories coiled around them, tugging at her heartstrings in a surreal dance, almost a lullaby. Each image flickered, decaying like an old film, casting deeper shadows in their small huddle. "Mom!" Emma squealed, voice trembling like leaves in a storm. It's beautiful. Stay focused." Lisa hissed, pushing the warmth toward her children, chaining it to reality. Memories were powerful, but they could just as easily become a trap. The Aswang's laughter rose, a ghastly echo that punctuated the flicker of light with dread. "You're wasting your time, Mother. I will drown you all in your own despair." As the darkness thickened, she realized they might become lost among the very memories meant to shield them. Clutching her children tighter, panic clawed at her resolve. "We need more jars. Keep grabbing them." But it was Noah who froze, staring into the depths of the shattered jar. "Mom, something's coming out." A shadow curled around his legs, pulling him gently yet relentlessly toward the open space where the darkness swelled, hungry. Crystal shards glimmered ominously like sharp teeth, catching the last remnants of light. "Noah!" Lisa screamed, lunging forward as he began to lose his footing. The moment was fraught, as if a hand reached into the past to pull him back into the nightmarish present. "Help him!" Emma cried, the urgency in her voice sharpening the fear in Lisa's chest. The Aswang roared, pushing the air into a suffocating pressure. With every ounce of strength, Lisa yanked Noah back, just as tendrils of darkness snaked around the remnants of the jar, pulling towards something larger, the figure of the Aswang, now shrouded in the remnants of the memories they'd unleashed. It writhed and pulsed, chaos spawning from the cracks in the wallpaper and the corners of the room. "Foolish mother!" The creature hissed, its form morphing, twisting even as Lisa pulled her son away. "You think your love can conquer me? I am the keeper of every fear you've ever felt." Lisa's heart thundered like a drum, vibrating through her bones. "We're not afraid of you," she shouted, though the tremor in her voice echoed her doubt. "Our love is stronger." "Stronger?" The creature laughed, a maddening spectacle of sound and shadow. "Every treasured moment will rip you apart, or will it all just bind you tighter, in chains of memory?" She stepped back instinctively, dragging Noah and Emma out of the fray, but it was too late. More memories burst from the splintered jar, unraveling into the cavernous space, coiling around them like whips of light and shadow, shimmering like glass yet feeling cold and sinister. "Let us find a way out. It has to be here," Lisa urged, stepping back and scanning the chaotic room. Shadows danced wildly, and the air grew denser, alive with whispers of memories long lost. Noah shivered, glancing deeper into the emerging chaos, his eyes wide. "What if it pulls us into the past?" Lisa's stomach dropped as the faint smell of something rotting began to fill the air. The Aswang's laughter sharpened, and she felt the threads of her memories shifting, entangling with the darkness. She needed to turn the tide. "Noah! Find another jar, fast!" But as he darted toward the shelves, a scream sliced through the chaos. Emma had stumbled, and the darkness slithered eagerly at her feet. "Help! Mom!" Before Lisa could react, the wall beside her crumbled away, revealing a hidden passage. Cold air rushed out, carrying with it a whisper that beckoned her closer, a desperate chance of escape. "Emma! Hold on!" Lisa shouted, racing toward her daughter, struggling against the wave of shadows merging, growing more voracious. Would she save Emma in time or give herself over to the darkness? Another decision faced her, and with the twisting Aswang hunting them, she could feel the pulse of terror, urging her on. "Go!" The shadows laughed, a chilling harmony that echoed through the night, spurring Lisa toward an unknown future. What awaited them in the passage? Would they face yet another monstrous truth lurking within? The passage loomed ahead, dark and inviting, a breath of cold air promising either salvation or doom. Lisa's mind raced with visions of escape mingled with dread. She could feel the darkness clawing at her heels, a ravenous predator hungry for their despair. "Emma, come on!" she yelled, her voice cracking under pressure. The shadows writhed, entangling around Emma's legs like clawing vines. "I can't move." "Mom, Emma's words were snatched away, replaced by the Aswang's cruel laughter, echoing like shattered glass in the depths of her mind. Lisa lunged forward, gripping Emma's arm tighter. But as she pulled, the girl's energy flickered, fading as the darkness closed in. "Faster!" Noah shouted, eyes wide with fear. He darted a few steps toward the passage, but a shadow lunged forward, snapping at his feet. "Mom! It's everywhere!" Panic surged through Lisa, a rush of desperation as she fought against two monsters, the Aswang looming behind her, and the darkness pulling at her life. The shadows were alive, pulsating and twisting in wicked delight. Each whisper they uttered felt like icy fingers brushing against her skin, reminding her of the memories they threatened to consume. "Hold on. Just a little more," Lisa screamed, dragging Emma toward the passage. The smell of decay was stronger now, mixing with the sweet scent of memories, a cruel reminder of what was at stake. At that moment, Emma broke free from her grasp, collapsing onto the ground. The darkness lunged, twisting around her limbs like a serpent ready to strike. "Mom! Help!" she cried, her voice too fragile. "No! Emma!" Lisa felt her heart shatter, the weight of despair crashing down like a heavy stone. "Get away from her!" Noah erupted, rushing toward the shadows, but Lisa screamed for him to stop. The Aswang hissed a cruel, joyous sound. "What will you do, mother? Save one while losing another? Your love spells chains around you." "Shut up!" Lisa shouted, her voice raw. With every inch closer the shadows crept, she couldn't afford to think, she had to act. Grabbing a jagged shard of glass from the shattered jar, she held it defensively, even as tears streamed down her cheeks. "Emma! Fight! You have to!" she urged, forcing her daughter's eyes to meet hers. "Remember our picnic? All the fun we had?" Barely able to breathe, Emma blinked, the warmth of Lisa's memories flickering across her. The shadows hesitated for a moment, drawn into the whirlpool of confrontation. Gritting her teeth, Lisa stepped into the darkness, brandishing the glass. "You want memories? Here's a new one." With that, she plunged the shard forward, aiming at the tugging darkness consuming her daughter. The dark shrieked, recoiling as if stung. "Foolish woman! You know not what you unleash." That moment, a resounding crack echoed as more jars shattered within the chaos, rippling the shadows. New memories erupted, flickering snapshots of triumph, love, and laughter, but they also brought a darker specter, festered with grief and longing. Lisa felt them like knives, cutting into her mind, threatening to drag her into their depths. Every moment of joy twisted, revealing the coarse edges of loss. "Noah!" She turned, fearing for him, but he was frozen, eyes wide as he faced something deeper in the shadows. "Mom!" he shouted, voice breaking in panic. "Something's coming." From the corner of her eye, she caught movement, something emerging from the depths, crown glinting like a beacon. It wasn't just a memory. It was something real, something long buried. "No! We have to go." The walls of the passage vibrated ominously, pulsating as if alive. The Aswang shrieked through the encroaching darkness. "Your past will consume you. You cannot escape." With a desperate tug, she grasped Emma and Noah's hands, dragging them forward into the small opening. The shadows writhed, howling madly, eager to drown them in despair. In that fleeting moment of escape, Lisa realized the passage curved further, opening into a cavernous void filled with the haunting whispers of lost souls. But would it lead to safety or deeper into the Aswang's haunting grasp? As they squeezed into the passage, the darkness erupted behind them, and the shriek of the Aswang echoed through the tunnel. What if we never escape?" Emma whispered, shivering as cold air gripped them tighter. "We will," Lisa insisted, but doubt gnawed at her heart. Yet as they plunged deeper into the unknown, an even more horrifying presence stirred ahead. They had only traded one terror for another. What monstrous truth awaited them at the end of the passage? Would it be their salvation or the darkness anew? The air grew thicker, almost viscous, as they slid into the cavern, the ghostly whispers swirling around them like faint echoes of forgotten laughter. Lisa stumbled, pulling the children closer, feeling the pulse of fear thrumming against her chest. Each heartbeat echoed the truth she tried to deny: the passage was alive, hungry for their despair, ready to swallow them whole. "Keep moving," she whispered urgently, shoving the shard of glass down into the pocket of her coat. It felt like a fragile promise, a spark of hope she couldn't afford to lose. The darkness was heavy and oppressive, tinged with memories that clawed at her consciousness, threatening to drag her down further into despair. "Mom, I can't see." Noah's voice was barely above a whisper. "What's in here?" The whispers answered for him, growing louder, forming words that chilled her bones. You shouldn't be here, you awakened us. Shut up. Lisa yelled into the void, her voice shaky yet defiant. We're not afraid of you. But even as she said it, the shadows crept closer, their forms twisting in and out of shape. They fed off her fear, bloating like monstrous shadows, filling the cavern with malice. Something shifted behind them. Emma, trembling, clung tighter to Lisa. Mom, we have to go back. It's worse here. No. We have to keep going. Lisa urged, forcing her feet to move despite the ice creeping up her spine. Fear gripped her heart like a vice. Panic surged as she recalled Emma's fragile form ensnared by that darkness, a memory she couldn't let occupy her thoughts now. Ahead, a flicker of light broke through the night, drawing them closer like moths to a flame. But as they approached, Lisa sensed a malevolence lurking behind the brightness. Shadows danced grotesquely, distorting the twisted reflections of her children on the cavern walls. Does anyone feel that? Noah's voice quivered, almost drowned out by the whispers. It's pulling at me. A spectral figure materialized, wreathed in light, but the light felt wrong, cold and unwelcoming. Its face morphed, shifting from familiar to grotesque in a heartbeat. Lisa recognized it, a long-lost friend from her childhood now twisted into a mockery of itself. Lisa, it breathed, a voice dripping with a sickly sweet malice. I've waited for so long. You can bring them with you, to never know despair again. Stay back. Lisa shouted, instinctively stepping between the apparition and her children. Memories rushed back to her of betrayal and loss, each one a dagger cutting deeper into her resolve. This isn't real. My darling. You're so close, all your pain can end. No. Emma whimpered, her small voice cracking. Mom, don't listen. But the shadows surged, their whispers clawing at her mind, dragging her back into overwhelming grief, dragging Noah and Emma with her. Lisa felt the weight of memory, dark and suffocating. Shards of her past broke through, joyous laughter blending with heart-wrenching cries, a cacophony of shattered moments. Look! Noah shouted, pointing ahead. It's another passage. In the faint light, another exit appeared, this one framed by wild roots and jagged rocks, pulsing like a heartbeat in the cavern's dark belly. The Aswang's laughter echoed behind them, promising torment and despair. Noah, grab Emma. We're running. With renewed vigor, Lisa drove forward, forcing the dread from her mind. The whispers surged, a flood of despair trying to pull them back, but she was no longer willing to give in. As they reached the passage, she could feel the shadows clawing at her back, hungry for their escape. Run! She screamed, the cavern shaking as the darkness released a wailing howl of rage. In that moment of desperation, everything shifted. A gust of wind erupted from the passage, igniting the darkness with flickers of dying light, just enough to illuminate their path. But with hope came the cloying scent of decay. The Aswang wasn't far behind. They were close, but would the light lead them to safety or deeper into horror? As they crossed the threshold, the shadows shied away, and Lisa felt a moment of relief. Only to realize the haunting whispers changed, morphing into a new sound, ringing laughter that echoed through the darkness, more sinister and tangible than before. What sinister game awaited them beyond that flickering light? Would they finally escape this nightmare or become lost in its embrace forever? As they surged into the next chamber, the initial flutter of hope faded quickly. The walls loomed high, slick and damp with an unsettling sheen, reflecting the flickering light from the open passage. Overhead, the shadows conspired, twitched like restless phantoms threatening to swallow them whole. Where are we? Noah gasped, pulling Emma close. I don't know, Lisa breathed, fear creeping back in. But we need to stay together. Ahead of them, the chamber expanded, steeped in darkness with only patches of dim light casting eerie silhouettes. The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like ribbons of malice, taunting her with fragments of her past, her laughter shared with friends now all but ghosts, the warmth of her children's arms that felt elusive. "You should have stayed in the shadows," a voice crawled into her mind, one she had much too long known. "Now you can't escape." The air thickened, and Lisa felt the sickly weight of despair strangle her. "It's just memories," she muttered, clenching her fists. "I can't give in." Suddenly, a loud crash erupted behind them, the Aswang, its feral howl reverberating through the chamber once more, growing nearer, hungrier. It pulled forth all her worst nightmares, shadows gathering greedily, waiting to engulf her small family. "Mom, it's coming!" Emma whimpered, clutching her brother. "Run!" Lisa urged, adrenaline pushing her forward. They bolted toward the farthest edge of the chamber, where another beam of light beckoned like a lighthouse cutting through the storm. The passageway felt alive, twisting and turning like the labyrinthine corridors of nightmares. Just as they reached the edge, Lisa felt a blast of cold air sweep through. "Don't look back," she called, choking back the urge to turn. But of course, curiosity tugged at her heart. She glanced back just in time to see the glimmering fangs of the Aswang emerging from the shadows, eyes glinting with wicked joy. "Your love will only lead you to ruin," it screeched, voice echoing desperately, thick with an insatiable hunger for despair. "No!" Lisa shouted, refocusing on the light ahead. She pushed her fear down, held on to the warm, small hands of her children. "Just stay close, believe in this, believe in us." The light flickered brighter, almost dizzying, as they hurtled toward it, shadows clawing at their backs, chipping away at their resolve. Just a few feet away, Lisa felt a warmth radiating from the light, a promise of safety. The shadows roared, a cacophony of rage that filled her ears. With a final burst of speed, they reached the shimmering threshold. Lisa squeezed her children's hands tighter, eyes locked on the light ahead. The moment they crossed, a wash of warmth engulfed them like a blanket woven with love and comfort. The air cleared, the shadows retreating, howls dissipating into the silence like smoke. They stumbled into a vibrant meadow, bright with colors so vivid they took Lisa's breath away. Where are we?" Emma asked, eyes wide in wonder. "This is home," Lisa whispered, heart filled with both sorrow and joy. The feeling was so foreign but right at the same time. They stood in a field that held the laughter of their past. But just as quickly as the relief washed over her, the knot of pain returned. "We need to find a way back. We need to free everyone." The memory of their precious home, the fear that had gripped Hollow Pines, settled heavily on her heart like a stone. Then, a soft voice echoed through the meadow, familiar yet distant. "You've made it, Lisa." It was Mrs. Hale, her form appearing at the edge of the clearing, hovering like a specter of hope yet foreboding. "But you can't forsake those left behind." "Why?" Lisa's voice was a mixture of defiance and despair. "Why did you let this happen?" "It is not my doing, dear heart. It is the fabric of choices we weave. You can't hide from what you are." "What do I have to do?" Lisa asked, the weight of her resolve firming her determination. "An exchange," Mrs. Hale murmured, hovering closer. "Fill the void with love, for it curates reality. The shadows can only take what you willingly surrender. You may need to give a part of yourself once more, a sacrifice to retrieve what has been taken." "I can't do that," Lisa cried, feeling the vast chasm of responsibility. "My life is here. I can't lose them both. Fate chooses a different price for us all, my dear. All is bound by love. You must decide what that means to you." With that, Lisa felt warmth seep through her and understanding dawning upon her. To reclaim hope in her children, she had to fight the shadows not just with her strength but sacrifice, too. "Whatever it takes," she whispered fiercely, turning toward Noah and Emma, eyes brimming with love. "I will fight for you, no matter the cost. We are greater than the darkness." As dawn's light filtered through the meadow, piercing the tendrils of shadow clouding her heart, Lisa raised her chin high, ready to embrace her fate and reclaim the life she held dear, standing strong against the lurking darkness both in and out of herself. But as she turned back to face Mrs. Hale, a dim realization settled in her gut. Could she reclaim all that was lost, or would this price burden her way too harshly? Only time could tell, but in that moment, Lisa vowed to face whatever came next with her head held high, reclaiming not just shadows but the very essence of love that bound their fragile lives together. Now, as you close this chapter of Lisa's journey, feel the weight of your own choices. Will you step into the light of possibility and subscribe to our channel? You need to subscribe now so you don't miss out on the next gripping stories that will unfold. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help this community grow. Flood the comments with your thoughts about Lisa's sacrifice and your theories. This is the moment to show your support. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this story. Stand with us and be part of this journey.